Welcome to the TrueMindShifters channel. In this channel, we talk about our own true stories to help you overcome your own fear, shame, and guilt. In prior sessions, we spoke with Oren and Bela, and we're going to pick up from that prior conversation and go a little bit deeper. In particular, we're interested in learning more about Reiki and how Bela learned about this practice, utilizes it, and how we can all benefit.
If you like our stories, our shows, and our channel, please do subscribe, like, and share to others. Your comments are truly important to us. So to those who comment, thank you so much for your bravery to show up in our channel, because I know that a lot of people are listening and don't put any likes or any comments because they don't want to be noticed as listening, which is okay. Maybe one day, but if you do, we really appreciate that two-way conversation. And also for Bela and Oren, besides understanding better the Reiki, I also would like to touch upon Oren's ability to pick up on energy and help people understand trauma, help people understand purpose. And as Eva mentioned, we started the conversation. We're going to continue the conversation. It doesn't mean that we're going to have a show today and stop, because we've noticed that the conversation with the healer's voice, the dynamic duo of Bela and Oren, has a lot of interest, and we would like to really continue promoting and sharing with others the healer's voice. Bela, Oren?
Hello, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining us again. And I am so grateful for our prior conversation where, for myself personally, there was so much learning. So maybe there are people who follow and already understand so much, but for me, this is very much a new space. So I appreciated the analogies. I appreciated the way in which you shared your own personal journey into this space as well. So thank you again. I'm learning, you're teaching, even though we're not in a class, we're just in a conversation.
Bela, I was hoping you can share a little bit more about Reiki, simply because we all more or less understand energy, we understand how that works, but in reality, when you talk to people, we don't. So would you please share the most important concepts and points of why Reiki is truly a unique Japanese practice that has taken over the world?
Sure. Without going into deep history of Reiki and how Western civilization found out about it, we are celebrating right now almost 100 years since that moment. And Reiki came from Japan, from a very wise person. And after receiving his ability and finding his own nirvana, balance between his body and soul, he was able to share this knowledge with other people. So thanks to his knowledge, now we are in the West can use this practice. Unfortunately, during the years of developing this Reiki, there were two different directions, one Western, another Eastern. When Mikao Usui, who is the father of Reiki as we know it today, his main purpose was to find his answer, what's his purpose on this earth and what he needs to do. And he was using a lot of different religious practices, and one day he was able to receive this knowledge. So what he found that when he is in a specific set of mind, when his body is relaxed, he can receive special energies. And using this energy, he can find himself in a balance. And also, he was able to see that he can heal people by putting his hands physically on a person. And by doing that, that person was able to heal himself. In a Western civilization, there were symbols that Reiki using. There are 4 different levels. Level 1, 2, 3, 4. On level 1, you're just getting the symbol. On level 2, you are getting 3 symbols. And on level 4, you're getting master teacher, and you're becoming the teacher that you can transfer that knowledge to your students. That's the only way you can pass Reiki, from master to teacher. Person just by reading book cannot be Reiki, or by watching video or YouTube channel, he cannot become Reiki, because it's a physical connection from your master to teacher.
So is level 3 and 4, just to be clear, is you said master teacher? Is it master then teacher?
Yes.
Okay,
First
so
master,
level 3
you're
is
getting, yes, you're getting master. Basically, you are mastering Reiki. And level 4, you have the ability to pass that knowledge to the students.
got it, got it.
The difference between Western and Eastern. So in Western, there are symbols, as I mentioned, that's taught on those levels. They are very powerful symbols. They're in Japanese, and it's actually a collection of different letters, each symbol. And using those symbols, you can heal on a distance, you can heal animals, you can ground yourself, you can heal emotional traumas, you can power, making some symbols they're calling power symbols. So basically whatever they're attaching, you increasing that 100 or maybe 1,000 times. And that's what primarily was teaching on Western, and that's what was used in healing. So in Western, primarily Reiki used just for healing, where on East, Reiki used for finding harmony in yourself as a first and optional healing abilities. I am, as a teacher, I'm using 2 modalities, both Eastern and Western, because I believe person can heal only others when he finds harmony in himself first.
Very true. Go ahead, Oren.
No, I'm saying that's true. You cannot heal someone without being in balance. Because
You know, it's so fascinating. And I appreciate this contrast of Eastern and Western, because if you think about it, right, this philosophy is saying, no, you don't get to talk about this until you do it yourself. And so in the West, we give degrees, right, from the knowledge, not through application. You get a degree to be we'll just say a therapist or a doctor, right? So you're healing through your book knowledge, some application through external application, but not of healing yourself. Isn't that remarkable?
And you're absolutely correct, because it's actually very not polite in Japan to ask what level of Reiki practitioner you are, who was your teacher, and those questions. Here in West, it's very important how far from the roots you have your degree, how fast I can get all my levels, because I know there are some Reiki masters who teaching 2 levels on a weekend, which is absolutely impossible and is not right. It takes years and months to master first level before going on the other one. I have students who it took them 3 years from one level to another to understand that that's what they want and that's what they need.
That is a very true statement. I was hoping also to hear from you, Bella, maybe a very brief description of how the Reiki session with you looks like. Can you take us through the Reiki session, especially because you mentioned, and I not only mentioned, I actually know people who work with you and they're not close to you, so they're not in the same room. They're over the internet, because some people say, no, you cannot do that over internet, it's bogus, and it's not. I can attest to that. But can you please visualize, take us through, maybe very short session, very like make points. How does it look like?
Great question. I mean, it's hard to explain and show, but I'll try. Well, first of all, when I'm doing healing session, Reiki is just one of the modalities that I'm using. I'm using intuitive healing and other healing methodologies. But energy, it's not stops on the physical level. Energy, it's everywhere. And with the intention of the healing, you're already starting the process. Because yes, of course, when person next to you, they also feel the power coming from your hands. It's a little bit different experience, but you can do equally or almost equally on Zoom, on internet, through the phone. Sometimes I don't even need to see the person. I just can close my eyes, put my intention, and start working on them. And the most successful session if the patient is ready to receive the healing, because that's part number one. If the person is refusing, it doesn't matter how great I will be, it will not work for them. When I'm starting, if it's remote, we are going to the meditation, the person is getting relaxed. Sometimes I'm working on the chakras, sometimes it's again depends on the request. By working on our mind, when our body is relaxed, we are getting into a different state and we are more receptive to the energies. And sometimes the person can see images, sometimes this person can feel physically either heat or cold or yawning or crying. It's the reaction of the body on that healing energy. I never know what it will be, the outcome of the session. Every time when I'm going into the session, it's unknown. Whenever
That's exactly.
it will go.
I was going to ask exactly about the outcome, because whenever someone requests your service, right, your help, people are looking for certain result, certain outcome. So if you're saying that you're not sure what the outcome is of your session, what is the goal? The goal is to relax someone. The goal is to see their chakra or whatever with chakras or what's going on there. What is the goal?
The goal is to open that person's energy to receive the healing. That's the goal, because the patient knows better than I do. They can say, I have a headache, but their problem in their knees because there is blockage over there. And by healing that, removing that blockage in their knee, the headache will disappear. That's why I'm saying it's absolutely unpredictable, amazing. And sometimes after having the session, a person knows what to do next. He's getting, I can tell you some very interesting experience in our, that happened with our relatives. My father-in-law, he had a problem with his heart, and I was doing Reiki on him, and the Reiki worked miraculously because he didn't get help immediately with his heart, but when he went to a doctor, everything that happened was miracle. He was immediately getting into the hospital. He was immediately getting the help that he needed. So we never, as I said, it's an energy. We never know where it will go. It's just opening the doors, and the best outcome for that person will happen.
Wow. And when you think of, like, every now and then I'll think of how the possibilities of how our life unfolds has this level of infinity, right? Like so many different things can happen.
Right. We
And so,
always think we know better, but in reality, we don't. The universe knows much better than we
and,
do. We
and
think we
because
know.
it seems like we want to know, right? We want to know, and then we create all this dysfunction with our our own desires to control or want to know or have, we go in hot pursuit of controlling our lives and dictating other people's lives. And it sounds like what you're saying is if we open ourselves up through Reiki, then we can allow an energy to help guide us through our existence.
Absolutely right. The main thing is to trust the process, to trust the energy, and to trust that universe knows better than we do. By trusting it, we kind of letting go of things, and a new, absolutely wonderful and amazing things starting to happen with our lives.
Having people in my life who are very religious, does this practice contradict other religions, or can it exist in harmony with other faiths and views? Because sometimes, even when I would help people learn about meditation, people would sort of push it away and view it as something that was not something they felt comfortable with because of their own religious views. So help me understand, and maybe other people who may relate to this question of how do you do this and still honor your original faith and your original practices and rituals.
Right. So Reiki is not a religion. It could have become one type, but it's really not. People of all faiths practicing that. It's an energy healing practice. It's not contradicting, but if the person believes that it contradicts his view, then he shouldn't go there. It's everybody's choice. We cannot dictate people what to do, what not to do.
Thank
If
you.
the person choosing this path, then he allows himself to do it. But it's a universal law. The energy of Reiki, it's the universal energy of love. That's it. That's what it is. Nothing more. And some religious practicing through the prayers, some people doing it through other modalities. Everybody's choosing its own.
Thank you, Bella. This is a very good, I want to say, first glimpse right after the introduction into what you do, and we will definitely discuss more in the coming months. We're just giving our viewers a little glimpse of what's coming. I wanted to also ask Oren, would you mind just sharing in general, what does this first session with you look like?
It actually looks similar to what Bella is doing with Reiki. Basically, the distance doesn't matter as long as the person who I'm having session with is willing to discuss issues openly. It's up to the person, and I don't need to see person. I'm doing it anyway. My session goes with my eyes closed because my personal belief, I don't want to have the visual input from the person I'm doing reading or healing to, because it might give me confirmations which I don't want to hear or see. Because I say what I read from that person, and if person doesn't agree with me, his facial would say it. And I don't want this to impact my reading because I don't care what person tells me, oh, you're wrong. I see it, I say it. And in many cases, the person who vehemently opposing what I'm saying within the whole session, at the end of the session, saying exactly what I said in the first minute. You know what, basically what you said is true. So I think this session is extremely successful because person within that session, I help this person to see the truth, his truth, not mine, his, what he wants to see, not what he wants to hear, what he needs to hear. So that's pretty much how it goes. So I'm receiving questions, I answer, and person is willing, has the right to accept it or not. And I'm just showing the person what he needs to hear. And then it's up to this person to accept it.
So to summarize, people that come to your first session should come with prepared questions. That's number one that I'm hearing, because I
Yes,
hear it's important.
well, it's up to them. They may say, oh, just look at me, just see what's wrong with me. But I believe this is a waste of money and time, or time and money, whatever comes first, because I'm gonna chase this person's life, and God knows what's in that life. It's many things happening, and then the person, we might never arrive to the actual real problem the person has. I will tell a person what I see, but it's not maybe what he wants to hear or needs to hear.
So if the person says, you know, I really don't have any questions, I don't know what to ask, I'm just giving you a use case. But I know that throughout my life, I'm experiencing this and this, and I don't know why. Is this a valid question?
It is a question. So kind of like first statement, you're contradicting the second one. If person says, I don't have a question and only gives me then the use case, that means that the person has a question.
The reason why I'm talking about it is because a lot of people don't know that this could be the question. A lot of people have been taught in school or trained that you have to have a very specific situation and a very specific question. So what I'm giving you right now is a real experience when someone said, I don't know what to ask. I don't have any questions. And then when we help people realize that actually, if something bothering you, if there is anything that bothers you, a situation in life, overall your life, I don't know, relationship with money, with people, your reaction to something, it's already a question. A lot of people don't realize that's for example, I come to you and I say, you know what? Throughout my life, I have a very short temper. I don't like it, but I have it. I don't know why, right? I know, and you know, it's a real question. It is absolutely there, and it's something to deal with. A lot of people don't think it's a question. That's where I'm coming from. So if you could please share a little bit more, because people need to know a lot more about opportunities available to them. A lot of people are afraid to go to people like you because they don't know what to do with it.
And I don't mean to layer on too much, but I appreciate what you're saying, Marina. There's this, I think we're so disconnected. And I've heard other people and I myself have said that there's the doing and the being. And that a lot of people are just doing these behaviors, right? Habitual behaviors. They're doing, without the consciousness of what they're doing. They're just doing, repeating behaviors. And so what you're helping and what Marina is attempting to do is snap people out and help them see the opportunity to think about their being, right? And that, I think, I don't know, I'm kind of making my own loose connection here with being is perhaps where we're open to energy in a different way. And so how do we help people move from doing to being? And again, we're not suggesting that we're the ones that are going to push them directly, but how do we help open up people's consciousness to this a bit more? Or is that just their own journey?
You just answered the question. Thank you. Basically, we're gonna expand on this. There's a couple of layers here to this as an answer. First of all, if person is content with his life, maybe he is in real trouble. But if person is content, there is nothing any of us can do because he is closed to new ideas. He's content. He's fine. Maybe he's struggling, but he's fine from his perspective. There's no one out there who this person would believe. That's it, done. So short answer is this is a personal journey. Person who realizes something is wrong with me, that this person has an opportunity to grow in his personal life. And it's like a crack in a shield. One is enough. So once you have it, you can expand it, make it bigger, and say, okay, I went through this crack in the shield, so now I have more questions because now I have bigger field of view. So why is this and this and this? Oh, by the way, why is it that and that too? So the more a person expands its view or her view, the more has abilities to actually grow. So the only thing is here, the key word is the person who just shouldn't be content with what his life is. The moment he stops, settles, that's it. So it means he's happy. Whatever it is, he's happy. No problems.
So I am muted because I do have something to say here. In the very first sentence, you contradicted exactly what you were saying in a good way, from the position of this person can think there and feel good and totally content and still have a problem. No, it doesn't exist. You know it, I know it, Eva already knows it, right? Never,
Rephrase it.
ever
Let me rephrase it.
happens.
Yeah,
Never.
let me rephrase it. You're right, you got me. Let me rephrase it. We know this person has a problem. The world knows that the person has a problem, but the person himself is fine. He's content. So I stand corrected. From the person's perspective, he's done. He reached his top whatever.
Lying to
Everyone
himself.
sees
Yeah.
everyone sees
Lying to himself.
Yeah. But
Every single person knows if something is not right. They know it. The fact if they want to address it or not, that is a different thing. I know personally some very close people to me who do share, who say, I know I have a problem. I'm too weak. I can't deal with it. I cannot deal with it.
So what are they doing? So what's their solution? They're saying it doesn't exist.
No solution. Sinking.
Yep.
Staying in that staggered way, knowing, suffering, and just living because verbatim, I'm too weak to address it. Verbatim. And there are people who say, you know what, I have a problem. I don't know what it is. Okay. Would you like to look into it further? No. Why? I'm too afraid. Fear.
You already
Fear.
said 3 different use cases. The people who are content, the people who are weak, and there are people who are afraid. So
They're not content.
They're not the same.
None of them are. None of them content.
If you didn't see them, those people who content doesn't mean they don't exist. I'm just
True. True.
There's another, there's another way when I started to learn about teaching, okay? And I was going to training on how to train managers. And this was good 25 years ago. But there was something that one of the teachers shared, and she was an expert teacher for 30 years. And she shared something that her teachers taught her, which was a proverb. I think it's a Chinese proverb Teachers open the door, students walk through.
Yep.
And she told me, Eva, you will always teach people exactly what they need. Always. And
That's what
and
we
what,
do.
because they ultimately choose what they will learn.
Mhm.
And so what I'm hearing is this, if someone does not choose their healing, right? If they're not open to it, if they don't walk through the door, they're not going to learn anything. So you can save your breath, save your energy, save your time. You can still do your good work, but it's ultimately the other person's choice to receive information and healing or not.
Absolutely correct. And actually, I will share one tidbit of information that when I was receiving Reiki, I learned about it. When Mikao Suyu wanted to share his knowledge, he was going with a flashlight on the market in the dark, and whoever knew was following him.
So it's from the, exactly, this is from position of the strength. The person who is weak can be helped. The person who is afraid can be helped. The flashlight, the sight. But the person who doesn't, who think that everything is fine with him cannot be helped. Because even if he see that flashlight,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
He won't follow, because why should I follow this flashlight? I'm fine.
exactly.
Those people, so there are different categories. You cannot put everyone in one bucket. There's much more different people, right?
Mhm.
That is why we're talking about fear, shame, and guilt, and we're talking about fear all the time. That's why we've preached, I would almost say that word, to the fact that fear is the #1 reason people don't live their lives happy. Fear is the one thing that prevents people from achieving their best life. And that's why we're associating trauma with fear, because we all know if someone is hurt, they're fearing that same situation already. So the goal with us, with you, to help people who are weak but who are willing, right, to take the step to understand that they don't need to fear, right? Those that are listening to us, those that come across our channel, they're there for a reason. I completely agree with both of you that everything that happens for a reason, right? Whatever information is sent to a person is because they're ready to see it. The question is, they're ready to see it, are they ready to receive it? How can we help people understand that they need to deal with their trauma, and that will unblock them from fearing moving forward in their lives and dealing with those other things that they want and need to deal with? How?
Well, just one observation I have is that I don't entirely agree with the sentence that you just said, that you don't have to fear. I think the fear is absolutely healthy thing we have, sense. Absolutely healthy. It's not that you don't have to fear. I think that you have to overcome it. If you are a small child and there is a door in front of you and it's dark behind the door, completely dark, it's up to you to go in because, oh, there is a monster behind the door. But the child can overcome that fear and go through this portal into the room, which is completely dark, and turn on the light. But the first step is overcome the fear. He can stay there in the corridor and stay there for whole life, or he can go. So it's not that he's the fearless. He's just saying, I'm above it. And it's also the not only child, anyone, anything you do first time. Don't you have a fear? First time you
Yes.
prepare some food, don't you afraid? Aren't you afraid that it's going to be
Yes.
wasted? You just wasted this good, and
Mhm.
nobody going to eat it and criticize you. Don't you have that fear?
Mhm.
Maybe I would, definitely.
It's beautiful how you're calling out the existence of fear. And I think, definitely we've talked about our own channel here and the fears, multiple levels of fear that Marina and I have gone through, right? And so
Sure.
this is something that's very real, very true. And the conscious choice to go through it, to do it even though we are afraid, right? and to then just be and find our way and to do it together, I think. And so part of what I think we're hoping we can do is help people understand more about what might be on the other side of facing that fear, facing your traumas, overcoming what might be underlying, it's like this underlying dis-ease of what's happened in our life, because no one is free of trauma. No one. And it's part of our existence. And so we're acknowledging we're all wounded in some way. We all have experienced trauma. How do we help more people see that it's okay to go through this process of healing and see that people like you are there to help? And I think Marina and I have this desire to heal ourselves and wish for more people to heal themselves too. And so we're like, hey, look over here, look at this, look in this corner that you're afraid of. It's okay. And that's what I mean, in a very simplistic way, I feel like that's what we're trying to do with you, with others, and with ourselves.
So first of all, people need to acknowledge that they want to be changed, that something is wrong with them, and they're acknowledging that they have a problem. That's step number one, and it's a huge step. Second step, how to do it. And it's much easier than the first one. And by acknowledging that something is not right and you need help, that's already half the battle, because when you have intention of healing, then the right people will come into your life and will help you out.
Yes.
Because you're gonna seek to those right people. I totally agree with Bill. You're gonna seek to those people. You're gonna pay attention to those people.
Yeah.
It's not like they find you. You actually find them because you're ready to accept them into your life. Okay?
And also, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. That's the famous saying.
Mic drop moment. Say it one more time, Bella.
When the student is ready, the teacher will come.
No.
And I'm sitting here as a
Totally
devil's
agree.
advocate. I'm sitting here as a devil's advocate and thinking about all those people that I know personally that completely acknowledge that there's something wrong with them. They know, and they just cannot make that next step. So they're half ready. And I actually, over the course of us doing this over 6 months right now, wow, I can't believe this. I have observed more people actually have been in between that first and second step. And because I already moved so much over and I see how amazing it is to be beyond that second step, right? But I know how difficult it is to go from acknowledging you have an issue and actually being able to do something about it.
Right.
It is
Here is
very
where the fear
hard.
comes. Here is
It's
where the fear, where you have to overcome it.
And this fear mostly unfounded. Oh, I'm afraid to do this step because I'm afraid.
Exactly.
Preparation. Bump.
Okay.
Exactly.
If I may, I have words from my stepfather who raised me part of my life, or a good part of my life. And he would say, he talked about worrying and fear. He would say, don't worship the unknown. Don't worship the unknown. And I feel like I have to share that right now, because that's really what our fear is when it stops us, right? Is we are then, whatever our faith is, if we're being halted by fear, we are worshiping the unknown.
Absolutely.
And those are his words, not mine. I'm just grateful that I have the opportunity to share them.
That's my moment of the mic drop. Right there.
So many mics dropping.
So many mics. So little time. I'm just kidding. Well, as I said before, this has been a learning journey for me, and I'm just incredibly grateful for the opportunity to hear more about this perhaps newer or different alternative mode of healing And we're looking forward to digging into this more because this is complicated. And as Bella mentioned earlier, some of the people who are the practitioners of Reiki in particular, they may take years to move from one level to the next. So just in our appreciation and grander understanding of this, I feel so much smarter and grateful for both of your explanation. And Marina, your questions are incredible. So thank you so much. If people watching this or listening have half of the feeling I have of appreciation for this, it's a great experience. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Looking forward to talking with you again. And for everyone listening, we send you support, empowerment, and love.